And here we go. All right. We got everyone, squats, jumps. We're gonna have our feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly point outward, squat down, landing our heels, knees over our toes, and then jumping up, landing with a slight bend in our knees. 30 seconds, and begin. We want to avoid landing with straight legs, as that will put more stress on your joints. Landing with a bend helps the muscles absorb some of that impact. And time. Coming down onto the ground, we got our Supermans. Gonna have our arms extended out in front of us, legs behind, lifting up, holding for a second, and dropping back down. Working out your shoulders, your back, and your glutes. 30 seconds, and begin. And 3, 2, 1. Staying on our ground for our push-ups. Remember, we can do this one from an elevated surface, like a couch, desk if necessary. Keeping our elbows close to our body, the whole way up and down. Keeping our body straight, core tight. You can also do this from our knees if that is what you want to do. 30 seconds, and begin. Keeping our core tight the whole way through, body in a straight line, and elbows close to our body. 3 more seconds. And that is time. Rolling over onto our backs, we have our glute bridges. Gonna bring our heels in, close to our body, arms at our side, or chest, pushing through the heels and the tops of your legs until your body's in a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Pausing at the top and dropping back down. 30 seconds, and begin. You can also do single leg variation if 2 legs is easy for you. Extending one leg out in front, pushing to the heel of your other leg. The leg that's lifted, hold still, just off the ground. You can switch back and forth. And time. And coming back up onto our feet for our bicep curls. Give everyone a second to grab their weights, water bottles, whatever you have. I'm going to stand, feet shoulder width apart, arms at our side. Contract our biceps, lift up. With our palms facing upwards towards the ceiling. Controlling the weight all the way through the motion. 30 seconds, and begin. Halfway there. And 3, 2, 1. Stay in the same position. We bring our arms down to our side for our lateral raises. Same thing, feet shoulder width apart. Weights and water bottles at our side. With our wrists facing towards the floor. Raising our arms out to the side. If you want to make it a little easier, bend your elbows. Do the same motion. 30 seconds and begin. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. And last one, coming back down to the floor for our plank. Plank on the floor is too much. You can use the elevated surface again. Just couch, table, keeping our body straight the whole time. Do the shoulder touches from here as well. Or you can come on the floor or on your knees, just making sure that you're keeping your body in a straight line the whole time, tight core. 30 seconds, and begin. Like I said, if you're doing shoulder touches, make sure your body is not twisting from side to side as you do it. I'm going to try to maintain the same position. Not rolling over to touch each shoulder like this. And that's time. Good job, everyone. Get some water, and we'll start our cool down in a minute here. First one, we're stretching our quads and our hip flexors. Coming down to the floor, kneeling position. Have whatever foot is out in front. For me, it's my left, slightly ahead of your knee. And we're going to lean with our hips into the stretch, keeping our torso nice and straight up in the air for 30 seconds. I want to switch sides.
If this is too rough to kneel onto your knee like that, you can do this standing. Cody, can you just show them how to stretch their quads standing?
Yeah, you can.
Yep, perfect.
This one, or leaning your hips forward. This one will also slightly stretch it.
This one's good though, because you can get a pretty nice deep stretch.
Sometimes it's a little bit too much.
Yeah, exactly. So don't crank.
And go ahead and switch sides. Another thing you want to focus on when you're doing this stretch is you don't want your hips to be tucked back. You want them to have them tucked forward underneath your hips, like stacked with your shoulders. And if you do that, you'll definitely feel it sooner stretching forward instead of being able to go out all the way. Our next stretch is going to be a figure 4 stretch. We're going to sit on back, butt on the floor, heels close to our butt, arms supporting us. Cross one leg over the other. And you can either roll down onto your back and put your arms around the leg, pull into it, or if just sitting there is good enough, just keep it like that. This is going to be stretching out your glutes and your piriformis muscles.
It's a very deep hip stretch. So if this is a little rough on you as well, like on your knees, I know some people have issues with their knees in this position. You could sit in like butterfly position to do a little stretch on your hips. I think Max is going to show us that, right? So just a real nice gentle stretch for the hips and the groin area, or you can go all the way up to what Cody's doing with that figure 4, or sit up. If you're real bendy, you can maybe sit up and do this. That's intense for me to sit up.
Burns so good. Go ahead and switch legs. Crossing the opposite one, whichever one you didn't cross with the last time. And you can either sit up and just push into it, or you can roll back on the ground, grab that leg that's still 90 degrees, and pull in towards your body. You'll feel that stretch right along the outside of your hip. And 15 more seconds. And that is time. All right. The next 2 stretches, we're going to stretch out our chest and our back. Come over to a wall or a doorway. And for the first one, if you're using a wall, you can put one arm up top and just lean it into it, like we're doing our already other good mornings, hanging back at the hips. If you have a doorway, you grab onto it and just pull back. If you're stretching out your right arm, your right lat, you can bring your right leg back behind you, and that'll get you a little bit more stretch on that leg.
Yeah, so you should feel this in your back. This should be a nice lengthening stretch. You can see Max doing it from a different camera angle, so that might help too. You can do this with both hands on the wall. I actually do this at the kitchen counter as well. And I bend down and I kind of sometimes bend my knees a little deeper to get a deeper stretch in that back. Think about lengthening that back. And so like Jackie, you're doing great. If you wanted to even, are your knees bent, Jackie? You can bend your knees a little more.
They weren't really bent.
Yeah, so, and yeah, now bend your knees.
Switch arms.
Yeah, you like that? I like that. Yeah, this is great. Big, long muscles in the back getting stretched. So so Jackie's doing a variation. Cody's doing one that's definitely more focused on the lats with the one arm.
And 10 more seconds.
For anybody that has foam rolled their lats, you know how tight they are. It's quite painful, in my opinion.
And that's time on that one. For our next one, we're going to be stretching out our back. Same thing. On a wall, put your palm, wall, and we're going to be turning away from it until you feel a stretch across the front of your body. And you can do the same thing in a doorway. Your arm straight, you should feel that just at the front of your shoulder, across your chest. 30 seconds, and begin. You can also do this both arms at once, if you're flexible in the doorway.
Yeah.
I personally like to just focus one at a time, get a little bit of a deeper stretch out of it. 10 more seconds here, and we'll switch sides. And 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch sides. This one's a great one for those of us that are hunched over our desks all day. Shoulders thumb forward, stretching that out, opening the chest up. 5 more seconds here. And that is time, everyone. Great job.
Great work.